Hello guys. As a continuation from the previous video where we were discussing about if else based condition statements, I want to provide some more information, some more options that you have with this kind of an approach. Not necessarily that you have to have only three conditions. Let's say you want to have one more condition over here. So you can have as many else ifs that you want. This is one more thing that I want you to know. And along with this, there is also a way for you to have some nested conditions. So what do I mean by nested condition is that let's say you have an if condition over here. Now, once you get inside this if condition, let's say the user has entered option number one. So this is true. So we will get inside this. And here you can have another if condition, something like this, depending on some condition. You can always have another if condition over here, something like this. And inside that you can have another if condition also. And you can have some kind of a condition over here, and you can have another if condition. So um, this is something that I want you to know as well, that inside an if condition you can have another if condition, and you can have another if condition. So it's like inside one if condition you have having another if condition. It's like a nested if conditions that you're seeing over here. This is one way of getting things done. So let's take just one of the nested conditions and see if it really works this way, with some example. So let's say we can have a boolean variable over here, a check, and we can make it true. Okay. So what we can do here is that if true equal to check, then we can have another print statement confirming that the nested if condition also works. So let's do that. So uh, check passed is something what we can tell, and let's see what happens when we execute. um, so choose one, and the check has passed. So in the similar way, if we had this to be false, then we wouldn't see that particular statement coming in the output. So let me execute again. Let's say one, and you don't see that statement coming in. So this is working. So this is how you can have a kind of a nested if also if needed, depending on the situation. Another option along with this nested if is that you can also have um, in the single if statement you can have multiple conditions. That is, let's say you want this condition to behave based on two conditions. That is, if the option is equal to 1, and if this is true, if the check is true. So we can wrap this up inside another common bracket to avoid confusion. So what is happening here is that now what you're seeing here, this is kind of an AND operation. So what it does is that it will check that if the option is equal to 1, and if the check has a value of true, only then the entire condition is said to be passing, and this will execute. Let's say the option is equal to 1 but the check is not equal to true, then even though one of the conditions got satisfied, still the overall condition is not going to be satisfied and is still going to execute. So let's check this now and see if it really works that way. So let me compile again and let me execute, and let me choose the option 1. And if okay, so a nice thing over here for us to learn. So what actually happened here is that I was expecting th this not to be printing, and basically nothing to be printing. But what's happening is that because we have an if and else, so the invalid option has come in. The reason for that being, the check currently has a value of false. Okay, so the check is not true, so this condition is not true. So whenever some if condition is not true, what will happen is that the check will next go for the next else if, and it will check if the option is true. That is also not the case. So if this is also not satisfied, if this is also not satisfied, then we have an else here which will anyways get executed if none of these conditions are true, and that's what happened in this case, and that's why we see an invalid option. So this is a wrong way to write some logic, but the whole purpose here is that I wanted you to know the significance of this and over here, and that you can have multiple conditions in a single if statement as well. And also sometimes you can have a nested if condition. Just to demonstrate a little bit further, that instead of having and, sometimes you might have a situation where you want to use an or, that when either of the conditions satisfy, execute this statement for me. So that syntax would be something like this. You need to tell or. So this is a syntax, or this is the way you tell or. And what this means is that if either this condition is true, or if this condition is true, then this will execute. So we can check this as well right now. Let me execute. Yeah, so even though the check is not currently true, but since the option is equal to 1, this will still satisfy because we have an or here. Either of the conditions, if it is true, then this entire condition will satisfy and this statement will execute. So this is something I wanted you to know as well, along with just knowing about the if and else. You can have some nested conditions, you can have multiple conditions in the single statement, and again, not necessary that you can have only two conditions. You can bring in one more or you can bring in one more and you can have an additional condition. So all that is allowed, but it really depends on what the scenario is, what the logic is, and how you want to implement. So yeah, that's all that I wanted to convey in this video. Let's meet in the next video. Thank you.